Percy and the Old Iron Bridge. The island of Sodor is home to many different places and spaces that are old and new, but the Old Iron Bridge is the oldest bridge on Sodor. The bridge was first built when railroads were first discovered. In 1895, the bridge was built, and the railwaymen have been using it for many years. Engines are usually scared to go across the bridge because it creaks and shakes, and it usually has been used a lot, which makes the bridge rickety and shaky. And most of the time when engines run across it, rocks and gravel start to fall from the bridge. But sometimes the engines up above don't notice, but the engines down below do notice. One day in the sheds, Thomas and Percy were discussing something. So Percy, I hear you have to take a very important train to someplace. Where do you have to go?
Thomas, I gotta go to the Old Iron Bridge. I really don't like that bridge. But I'll have to do it to make Sir Topham Hatt proud.
Underneath the bridge was a station and a farm. Henry usually goes there to pick up his coaches, and also every other engine goes there to pick up their coaches. But sometimes when the steam rises, more rocks start to fall onto the engines. They need to get that bridge fixed before it hurts somebody. And with that final statement, Henry left the station without any more complaints. Meanwhile, Percy was at the quarry collecting rocks for the bridge to try and keep it stable. Shortly after, Percy was ready to go. "Peep, peep, peep," said Percy. "Off we go!" Percy was getting rather anxious because of the old iron bridge that was coming. Soon after he went up the hill to the old bridge, he started getting scared because the bridge was old and it was creaking and it was rocking back and forth. And then Percy stopped and the bridge started to shake even more. Percy was frightened and didn't know what to do.
"Oh dear, the bridge is starting to shake. Oh, I better go back,"
said Percy, frightened. Percy backed up quickly, but he didn't know what would happen to the bridge afterwards. And then, the bridge started to collapse, with all the ballast on top of it. Soon, the tracks were rocking and shaking, and soon, most of it fell. More rocks began to fall, and Edward was covered in dust, and so was the station and the farm.
"Oh dear!"
yelled Percy.
"What am I going to do now?"
Percy was so frightened over this. Soon Thomas came and wondered what the noise was. "Thomas, what happened to the bridge?" "I don't know, Edward. Maybe it's because of how old it is," said Thomas to Edward.
Help! Please!"
Soon after they helped Percy, he was thanked by Sir Topham Hatt in the sheds that night. And then the next day, they started to work on the bridge and clean up most of the island, while Thomas and Edward were still sitting there waiting for it to be clean. Soon after everything was mended and everything was clean, the engines started to run along as they used to. The bridge is now secure with very hard-to-break metal, and it was all thanks to Percy, who tried to save his crew and stopped a harmful accident by whistling loudly.